Hello, everybody. Welcome back to SaveTheGen, a podcast here to not only inspire our youth, but also bring people on here to really transform and show what they've been through and really hope that people really grasp onto it. Now, here we have a special guest today, my boy Kai.
What's up, good? Yo, thanks for having me, man.
Man, thanks for coming, man. We appreciate it at the most, man. So, just first of all, just give us a little background story of you, where you from, where you went to school at, and where you at right now as far as what field are you in?
Yeah, so my name's Makai. So born and raised Brooklyn, New York. Went to this college-bound program. They introduced me to all these different universities. And I really came out here probably about 2016 to Niagara Falls. So through that, I had been on a Niagara University campus, toured it, really liked it. So I ended up going to Niagara University for my college years. And I came straight out the gate. I went into marketing. That was my major.
Yes, sir.
And then my sophomore year, I had declared a double major. So I did communications alongside marketing. Pretty much to get into that, that media, understand media, different forms of marketing, and really expand on that. And then my junior year, I was introduced to the food marketing program at Niagara, and then that was a different experience. So
it's definitely something that I would say Niagara is definitely a big one, and something that they not only have a lot of great connections, but a lot of great outcomes as well.
Yep. So that program really took my my career journey to the next level. So through that, ended up doing my first internship with a company called Lactalis. It was out in Buffalo, New York, South Buffalo. And
just have no background in regards of what they do. What type of industry are they?
So it's a food company. It's the biggest dairy company in the world.
Okay, so it's more dairy. Yeah,
so I believe is based in, its home base is Europe, and they big in the U.S. as well. They own brands like Galbani, President. And so I did that for a year. I worked in category management. Then after that, I ended up going back to Niagara for my master's. Okay. And I got into a grad assistantship. And that what that is that it's a program that allows me to work and the school pays for my education.
Correct. And I was just telling another young folk who was truly looking to go to grad school, but they see how much grad school is and how much little aid is provided in grad school.
Yeah.
And didn't even know that a graduate assistant existed.
Nah, it's true. I think a lot of people don't know about those programs, and I think what I fear is that people aren't taking the initiative to look for these things.
Facts. Facts. And I think that's what's wrong with it. It's just people just not taking the initiative. Even with programs like HELP, Say Yes, it's a lot of resources out here for people not only to get an education, but get a cheap education here in New York.
It's true, because you think about it, it's free money. Why should I beg you for you to get this advantage? You gotta, if you want it, you're gonna go get it. And then that's how programs like that weed out the kids that really want it and kids that are gonna succeed versus if I gotta beg you to do something that's you're not really into it, you're really doing it because I said you should. And so back to that. So I had did my grad assistantship. So I worked in the marketing office at Niagara, marketing and enrollment. So what a lot of the social media, so helping out with the school's Instagram page, helping out reaching the donors, helping out sending out emails and web blasts for students that are looking to go into college. So I worked in that department. And then just to wrap it up, what had happened is that one day I was at work and Niagara was hosting a job fair, and I was like, okay, let me step out the office for about 2 hours and go check out this job fair. Walked in there, blazer on.
And you came fresh, huh?
I came fresh.
That's how you gotta do it, man. You gotta come dressed to impress, man.
I did. So I walked right into my future boss. He was at a table. He works for a company called Harvest Hill. We spoke. He gave me his information. I followed up with him, and we kept that communication going. Went out to Williamsville and Buffalo, got lunch together, and then boom, I've been there for 3 years now.
Man, so That right there is a remarkable story in itself to truly show you how powerful networks are. And your future boss could be standing right in front of you. You might not even know. I recently had a conversation with my best friend Jamira in regards of people not knowing that education or going into higher education is more than just getting a degree. But there's that experience. There's also that transformative aspect as well, where you're learning a lot of social and life skills and really transitioning into, the person that is going to lead or be leaders within the community thus then. So, like, what could you say on that? On the transformative kind of gesture of higher education and people not really knowing that aspect? All the social skills, all the learning experiences that you had in your experiential learning.
It's kind of crazy. I think that, higher education, colleges, you get the degree is important.
Nah, facts. I agree.
You learn.
And I agree a lot of the academics are important just as well.
Well, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the degree is important. The classes teaches you a lot, but I think the key takeaways is networking. I think the key takeaways is
making those connections.
I think it's the profession, like learning how to be professional. I think it's one of the major things. I think being around people that are also pursuing education and are on you put yourself in a different level or a different room with people that is, I guess, more educated or people that kind of wants more in life. So once you surround yourself with people like that, things just start to happen, whether it's surrounding yourself with professors and learning from their experiences and aspiring to be, working companies like they have, or whether it's, hanging around my friends is it's one thing hanging around, my friends back home that, all they want to do is play video games and smoke versus you hanging around college students and y'all in the library together, all trying to study for exams.
I actually remember my first experience at Niagara. And it was all study sessions.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? It wasn't my first experience. Truly, it was a little bit of the parties. Yeah. But when I actually got into that first semester after my NUOP summer, it was more so study sessions after study sessions. That's how I got to know some of my closest friends that I still talk to this day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One of the first study sessions I was ever with was Zyra. With Zyra and all of them and they whole group, and that's how I got introduced to them at first. And I just seen Zyra when I went out to I was actually in Schenectady at Schenectady High School, and stopped by, had a drink with Zyra, and from there just great vibes and great connections that I've made early on, but that came from studying. You know what I'm saying?
So
and she's successful doing her thing, doing what she has to do in her field that she's pursuing. So it's just truly inspiring to see other people go their separate ways, but still have a success story kind of connected to it.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. I think that, I just think higher education is definitely a good place to network, to meet people, to brush up on your professionalism. I think one event that I actually remember the most from my time in Niagara was they had this business etiquette dinner, and they had someone that is I guess he's a professional trainer in business etiquette. So we went and they set up the tables. You got the forks, the knives. Yeah, you got your silverware, you got your plates, and then they serve you a 3-course meal. And for that, they teach you what does a small spoon mean. That's a soup spoon. Then you got the big spoon. Then it shows you, okay, you got your salad fork. Then you have your entree fork. And just the way that you're supposed to eat in business environments. And
because that's something that I wasn't taught as a kid.
So, and then they take you through a 3-course meal, and just even now it's funny, if I'm at a table before, if I was getting food, I would just start eating. Now it's I look at the room, and usually I'm with people that are in the business field, take the napkin, put the napkin on their leg, on their arm, just so they can wipe their hands or their face whenever they're ready. So it's funny that you may not think of it, but then if you're the only person at that table that don't have that napkin on your leg, you just stick out.
Now I have a question for you. Now, what if a brother come back and tell you, why you gotta switch because you in front of this type of group? What's your kind of response to that? And how are you to humbly kind of educate them on the proper ways of how to acknowledge a certain situation and how to read, how important it is to read a room.
This might sound a little crazy, but oftentimes I find myself in places that there aren't a lot of brothers. And I think the reason...
And that's just to begin with.
That's just to begin with. And I think it's not that they're not accepted. I think that because of the education and access I've had and like the type of people I surround myself with, lots of times I find myself in places that tend towards people like, kind of like what I was saying, like, you know, more business professionals places, or more like, kind of like more, I want to say expensive, but more like maybe restaurants in more, what is it called?
More
high income areas. Okay, because once you're in the high income area, it automatically like weeds out. That's why a lot of people like stay within certain areas, because it weeds out other groups. But I think going back to what you said is that a lot of it has to do with, I think what you educate is like who you surround yourself with. So the reason I said that is because, you know, first thing I'm do is look at who you with. So
that's true. You was not too far off from your surrounding, man. A fire does not fall far from the tree, man. Apple, man.
So if you're in a group and your group is like, let's say, causing a scene in a restaurant, your group is like excessively loud, or if your group is like just making it, you know, becoming the center of attention, then I think that I don't know, I feel like the conversation is more so like you need to maybe be more aware of your surroundings.
You need to know that when you're out in public with so people, you can't.
You gotta represent.
You gotta represent yourself. You gotta represent your last name. You feel me? You gotta represent what you stand for as a human. And I think a lot of the times is people truly don't understand what they stand for, or their why, and what really motivates them, you know, to, you know, take on this world and, you know, pursue something. You know what I'm saying? People don't really know their driving force until you know it. That's one of those things. But that doesn't say that can't be something that you're actively chasing day by day. So
I think to answer your question, how would I talk to a brother or a sister that is less educated in a setting like that? Is just like kind of schooling them, like you gotta elevate. It comes to a time where you're gonna have to like
tell them sit down, youngin.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta
sit down, youngin.
Yo, because do you want to be stuck in your situation? Yeah. Like, you gotta represent.
It's a rat race. It's a rat race, and I tell people all the time, if you ain't doing something different to get out of that rat race, then you're going to continue to live in that cycle.
Bro, alright, so, kind of, it's funny that, so we don't talk about this. So, going back to the conversation about different restaurants in different areas, right?
Yeah.
So, Buffalo, we got 2 restaurants owned by the same company. We got Vice and we got Neat. Neat is in Williamsville, predominantly white area. The business, like more of a business professional area, more it's like a high income area. Houses tend to cost a lot more there.
Okay.
And you got Vice, which is like downtown. I guess you could say
more urban area.
Yeah. Sure. So